vibe, we shine on the light. Welcome to chat night, we bring you good vibe, we shine on the light. We all over the world, chat night Africa. We all over the world, chat night Africa. Welcome to chat night, we bring you good vibe, we shine on the light. Welcome to chat night, we bring you good vibe, we shine on the light. We all over the world, chat night Africa. We all over the world, chat night Africa. Welcome to chat night, the only place that we give you good vibes. Chat night Africa. Welcome to chat night, all over the world we are shining the light. Chat night Africa. Welcome to chat night.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Family Matters on Chat Night Africa. My name is Divine Nchamukong. Thank you for making the decision to watch this very controversial broadcast. Marriage begins with words, sacred vows, whispered promises, echoes of forever. But somewhere between I do and I'm done, those words shift. What once connected becomes a contest. Listening turns into defense. Silence becomes a shield. And respect, the quiet heartbeat of love, fades beneath the noise, the weight of pride. This isn't an easy conversation, but it's the one every couple needs to hear. Tonight, we strip away the excuses and face the truth. What's really killing connection behind closed doors? And what it takes to reignite the fire is where our conversation begins. My guest, Dr. Daniel Shu, is a highly respected marriage counselor with over 30 years of experience. So grab a seat, get comfortable as we dive into a heartfelt conversation. Dr. Shu, you have earned a reputation for thoughtful insights drawn from decades of real world experience. Thank you for accepting to come take questions on Family Matters.
Thank you, Mr. Chamuko. It's a regular pleasure for me to be one of the speakers on your programs. I really enjoy these programs, and especially their diversity. You swing from marriage to politics to social life and to just everything that concerns the well-being of humanity. I really want to say that I appreciate this program, and thank you very much for inviting me several times to the start of the program.
Dr. Daniel Shu, I am the one to thank you for constantly responding in the positive each time we ask you to come and take questions and help couples navigate the very complex institution called marriage. Let's jump into it. Dr. Shu, when a marriage feels tense or cold, how much of that atmosphere do you think comes from our own energy rather than our partner's actions?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chamuko. The very first and most important thing that people should understand is that the manifestation of love before marriage is totally different from the manifestation of love after marriage. Love before marriage is just an emotion. Love before marriage is a dream. Love before marriage is an expectation that all your problems, your emotional feelings will be fulfilled. But now when we get married, love goes beyond emotions. Love now becomes emotions, emotional satisfaction plus responsibility. And that is the problem. Many people never quite understand that after marriage, they need to be responsible towards their spouse. And now, even when people are interested in being responsible towards their spouse, then they discover something that comes in that they never expected. It is called temperament. And temperament will determine whether your marriage becomes cold or tense. And let me explain that. You know, studies have proven that there are four main temperaments in the world. They are the overt temperaments, which are the cholerics or the dominants, and the sanguines or the influentials. These people are very overt with their manifestations. And so when they have tension in their marriage, they become vocal, they become emotional, and they burst out and they express their feelings. But the other side of the temperaments of human beings is the side of melancholics or conscientious, and also what we call the phlegmatics or the stable. They hide their emotions. They are introverted. And so when there are problems in their marriage, when there's tension in their marriage, they reverse to become cold, to become introverted, to become nonchalant, to become silent, and they begin to avoid the other person. So you realize that different people behave differently when there is tension in the marriage. While some people decide to be very cold, others decided to be very vocal and aggressive and even nagging. So it depends on the personality of the person, and then you find it. And just to end what I'm saying, psychologists have studied and have come out with 5 different kinds of marriages or marriage relationships, relationship between the wife and the husband. The first is called devitalized marriages. That is marriages, and I think we're really talking about this kind of marriages. The marriages that began on a good footing, they were very vital, they were very enjoyable, but because of tension, because of friction, because of misunderstandings, then the marriage becomes devitalized. And that's where they are unable to resolve their tensions. Then there's a second kind of marriage, which is called uh, conflict habituated marriages. The marriage is spiced with conflicts originating either from the wife or from the husband, and especially if the two of them are vocal, and if the two of them have angry spirits, then you have tensions that are coming from both sides. And at that moment, that conflict, that marriage becomes what we call a conflict habituated marriage. And usually, these are the two kinds of marriages that you will find tensions that are mismanaged. The third kind of marriage is called what you call passive congenital. The two are mainly introverted, and so they hide their emotions, and their emotions are very cold, very calm, very effaced, and so they suffer in silence. So, in fact, out of the 5 kinds of marriages, these are the 3 where you have tensions that are either manifesting themselves with explosions, or they are manifesting themselves with avoidance and nonchalance, or being effaced from the scene.
So that
So,
takes me.
yeah, different people manifest tensions differently.
So that takes me, especially, I mean, when you talked about conflict habituated marriage, that
Yes.
takes me to my next question. Do you think that some couples have become so used to conflict that peace feels uncomfortable to them?
Absolutely, absolutely. There are some marriages where conflicts have become a chronic problem, and the conflicts become, I'll call it, an unavoidable evil that the two have learned to live with. They have learned to accept their conflicts. And so again, the manner of accepting that conflict-based marriage depends on the personality. Some people become withdrawn. Some accept the discomfort, and they just accept their spouses with their differences, and you realize that they're either withdrawn, they're either defensive, or they despise and they are nonchalant or unavailable, or they are cold, or they are. But in all this, both of them are internally dissatisfied, because there's a very powerful thing that works in marriage. It is called emotions. Whether you are extroverted, whether you're introverted, you need to experience emotional fulfillment, emotional satisfaction. And when your emotions are not fulfilled, whether you are introverted or extroverted, the relationship begins to degenerate. And if you cannot talk about it and you cannot resolve the problem, then you have a chronic conflict or a chronic crisis which remains at the basis of your marriage, and both of you just live with it, but you are unable to resolve it. And quite often it needs a counselor, because quite often um, um, couples come to consult not because of chronic problems, but because of acute problems. The problems that have really traumatized their emotions and they cannot more support. That's when they come to consult counselors. But the counselor, after he has treated the acute problem, he goes along to identify the chronic underlying problems which are not very apparent, and then he begins to deal with them. Because when you don't deal with the chronic underlying problems, the acute problem will be resolved for a time, and after some time the acute problem will arise again. So this needs expertise for people to be able to identify what are the chronic problems that are underlining the acute crisis in a marriage.
Let me bring this little humor before we continue. A husband comes home from a prayer meeting. Dr. Shu, listen.
Yes.
He greets his wife and lifts her up. He then carries her around the house with a radiant smile. The wife is so surprised and asks, did the priest, did the pastor preach about being romantic today? The husband responds, no, ma'am. We just must carry our burdens and sorrows with a smile. Now, what does this say? This is a woman who is not used to a husband who is romantic.
That's right.
And at some point, you would find the wife wondering whether the husband came back drunk, or maybe he just came home from a prayer meeting where they were taught to be romantic.
Yes.
Let's move on. And if you are just joining us, you are watching Family Matters and on Chat Night Africa. My name is Divine Chamakong. The topic today on the broadcast: don't blame the marriage. Check what your attitude is. Dr. Shu, why do you think it's easier for people to find faults in their partners than to express genuine compliments or appreciation?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chamuko. I think your illustration is very, very revealing. Why is that illustration revealing? One, because many husbands, and especially I want to say that the African husbands really do not know how to express love physically, how to be tender with their words, with their actions, and to be able to um, emotionally satisfy their wives. So when a husband suddenly changes, then the wife begins to think, what is happening with my husband? There are usually a couple of reasons. The first reason may be that he must have seen a film on a screen, how a man was romantic or to his wife, and he decided to express that. The second reason is that the man may want sex, and so he wants to please the wife so that the wife will be ready to submit. The third reason is maybe a friend counseled him. Maybe he was in church and heard a message, or maybe he heard a message online, or he was at a seminar and he was taught to show tenderness to his wife. So when a man suddenly changes without that, the wife understands why. The wife is bound to misinterpret. And quite often that's the issue. So if the husband is changing, I advise you not to change very suddenly. And I advise you also to let your wife know that you've learned something new which you want to put into practice. Now, coming back to your question, why do spouses find faults with their partners?
Rather than express compliments or appreciation.
Yes, rather than expressing compliment appreciation. I want to analyze it in two ways. The first way is that there is a problem of self-centeredness. I want our audience to understand these two words that I'm bringing out. Either the spouse is self-centered, or the spouse has not understood what we call spouse consciousness. These two very important words.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, let me explain by what I mean self-centeredness. You know, self-centeredness talks about you being at the center of the marriage, you wanting everybody to please you, to satisfy you, to everything turn around you. You expect that others give to you, and you are not ready to give to others. And this is always as a result of lack of education, lack of being cultured, lack of being prepared for marriage. And we call this unrealistic expectations.
But Dr. Shu,
Yes,
does pride not play a part here?
absolutely, absolutely. In some people there is pride, but in some people there's naivety, and in some people there's absolutely unculturedness. So there are several reasons. Several reasons. Especially unculturedness. I like the word unculturedness. That is, you have been formed by a particular culture. Like in Africa, you see, the marriage turns around the husband. The marriage does not turn around the wife. The wife and the children want to please their husband. And so that is being uncultured. And so you come from a traditional background where you think that the man is at the center of the marriage. And so you expect your wife, you expect the children, you expect everybody around you to give you all the praises. And so that is what I call self-centeredness. Self-centeredness. So it's either a result of pride, or you are uncultured, or you are naive, or you are untrained. But the second word,
okay, go ahead.
The second word I want people to understand very well. That second word is called spouse consciousness. And every couple must understand that I am not the center. My spouse is. And I need to satisfy my spouse. And I want something to be understood here. Many people come into marriage expecting that marriage will give them joy, marriage will give them peace, marriage will give them satisfaction. So they come in expecting to be fulfilled, to receive, but they forget that marriage is a give and take. If you don't give, don't expect to take.
Well, if you don't, it's like if you don't save money in a bank, you can go to withdraw from that account because you didn't save money in the first place.
Exactly. There are many people who want to draw from the bank of their wives, their husbands, without having saved. You first of all give, and then you expect. You know, let me use it. Let me use the Bible sense. God first of all gave His Son, who died on the cross for us, and then now God says, "I have opened the door to salvation. You now come and let us reconcile." The way is open to you. If God didn't give anything, God will expect nothing. But God gave, and now he expects that we respond. In
So the
marriage,
question,
it's a give and take. Yes.
Dr. Shu, becomes, what does giving compliments, what role does it play in a marriage? Why is it even necessary?
Yeah. There's something we have to understand here, Mr. Chamkom. Compliments, appreciation, valorizing your spouse uplifts his or her spirit, makes him or her important, and it helps the person to be happy and to give you in return. But criticisms, nagging, anger, bitterness, insults, they belittle the person and they push the person away from you. So many of our marriages, either the spouses are neutral. I just give you an example of a man. I preached somewhere on marriage, and I asked the question, when was the last time that you told your spouse that you love her, that you appreciate her for all that she's doing? A woman shouted in the church the day that we got married. And it was a couple that was about 20 years or more in marriage. So the husband had not been telling the wife on a regular basis, darling, you are precious, I love you. And one other person told his wife, the day I got married to you, I told you that I love you.
Why
If I
do you
had,
need to be told over again?
yeah,
Over.
if I had changed my mind, I would have let you know. But since I've not told you anything different, then you should know that I still love you.
Dr.
But
Shu,
can you understand that? But the woman is expecting, the woman that is expecting that every day you tell her, darling, I love you. Darling, you made me a good meal. Darling, you are well dressed. Darling, you are beautiful. Darling, your perfume smells nice. Darling, you are such a wonderful woman. Darling, you take so well good care of the children. And also, there are husbands who expect that also. So when you don't do that to your spouse, then your spouse begin to wonder, does he or she really love me? And
do compliments have the same psychological impact on the man and the woman, or they affect them differently?
they affect them differently. They
How?
affect them differently. Let me explain that. The woman has what we call a, a spirit of intuition, the ability to discern whether what the man is saying is true or not. That's the first thing. The second thing is the woman is an emotional, affectionate being. And that's why the Bible, or God, who is the author of marriage, does not say in the Bible that the woman should love the man. It says the man should love the woman, and the woman in return will submit to the man. So, love, expression of a man to a woman, is in two ways. One is showing her affection, fulfilling her emotional desires. And you will understand this in the sense that sex in marriage for a woman is not a physical experience. It's a psychological experience. It's an emotional experience. But sex in marriage for the man is a physical experience, and it's controlled by his five senses. So you see, there's a difference, a total difference in the way the woman needs emotional satisfaction to the way the man needs emotional satisfaction. For a
So,
man, if a
yes.
man, the wife respects the man and the wife submits to the man is satisfied. He doesn't so much need emotional affection, but the woman, that is the priority of her needs from a man.
I told you about Dr. Shu. This
Thank
is
you.
pouring out of his brains like you find water gushing out of a broken pipe.
Wow.
Let's move on. You are watching Voices of Africa. Dr. Shu, you are watching, has over 30 years of real world experience. And like they say, the taste of the pudding is in the mouth. He is showing you right now. Let's move on to the next question. Some people argue, quote, if I don't correct my spouse, how will they improve? Now, Dr. Shu, is correction really love, ego, or ego in disguise?
It's all. It's all.
Explain.
It depends on your attitude and the reasons behind your correction and the method, the manner in which you correct. Now, if you correct like I know it, I am the one who can teach you, you need to learn from me. And then that's absolute ego. Absolute ego. But if you are telling the person, this is the experience I've gone through, and I think it's good for us, and you are helping the person to improve from in his personality, then that is not ego. That is a teachable spirit. I want to say that my wife and I, we've been married for 39 years. I have learned a lot from my wife, and my wife has learned a lot from me. In fact, from our teaching and experience, this is what we say: the best teacher is your spouse. The person you can learn from most is your spouse. And if you listen to your spouse, because you live with her 24 hours of the day, she knows your blind spot. What do I mean by blind spot? Every one of us, we have things that we do and things that we do not know, which we don't realize it. We are unconscious of them. But our wives and our children, they see and they know those things. Let me tell you an experience that I had in my home. I will never have it again, Mr. Chamoko. There was a time that we decided to ask everybody in the house to criticize every other person, say the good things and the bad things about the person. I made a mistake. You know, when it comes to your wife is very gentle and nice with you, especially when she's cultured like my wife. So my wife said a lot of good things about me and, just kind of encouraged me. But when it came to the children were raw. The children said it all. And they came out with my blind spot. The things that I do, and I do not know that I do them. The aspects of my character I was not conscious of. And I tell you, Mr. Chamukon, when they were talking, and as raw and as simple and as naive as they explained, I just said, oh God, can the earth just break and let me hide myself? Because they exposed the reality of who Daniel Shu was at that time. And so I had to learn a lot from my children. I tried to change, but whether you change or not, each of us still has that blind spot. And quite often, our spouse is the person who sees and knows that blind spot. And so when your spouse is speaking to you, please listen, especially when she or he is speaking not from ego, but from a desire to help you to improve.
Dr. Shu, somebody's going to tell you, you are watching Voices of Africa on Chat Night. Dr. Shu will be joining us right back. Time for us to have an interlude of music, and he will be right back. You are watching Voices of Africa, and the voice watching this evening is that of Dr. Daniel Shu. This is a live broadcast. In a moment, he will be joining us. My name is Divine Chamukong, and I'm anchoring this broadcast from Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. On this platform, a number of programs. We have Voices of Africa, we have Family Matters. What you are watching right now, we have Healthline, we have Next Generation Today, we also have Echoes of Hope. So we have lots of great programs on this platform. If you are watching on Facebook, I'd rather you go over to YouTube to make sure that because Facebook can only keep this broadcast for 30 days. And after that, all live videos on Facebook are deleted. So if you go to YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, you are going to find this broadcast on the platform. It's going to be there forever. We will be bringing you some interludes of music while we wait for Dr. Daniel Shu to reconnect. We have interesting things we have very important questions to ask him. And this you will find very, very enriching, especially those who are not married. If you are not married, or if you are married, it doesn't matter how long, there's always room for improvement. You will find this a great, great, great document, something you always want to go back and watch over and over and over. I'm going to bring you another interlude of music just to give time for Dr. Shu to join the stream again. This time it's the grass field music of the Northwest region of Cameroon. Yes, hold my hand, never let me down. That's the grass field music of the Northwest region of Cameroon. You're watching Family Matters on Chat Night Africa. You can watch this broadcast in high definition on www.chatnightafrica.net, or you can watch on YouTube. It's also on LinkedIn. It's on two places, on Facebook. But I am advising you to go over to YouTube to watch the broadcast, because once it's 30 days, Facebook will delete this broadcast, whereas you'll have it forever on YouTube and on our broadcast website. My name is Divine Chamukong, and my guest tonight is Dr. Daniel Shu. You can actually pick up your phone now and call. Remember the question. This immediately we find him in the lobby. We'll bring him into stream. The question this evening is: don't blame the marriage. Check your attitude. Don't blame the marriage. Check your attitude. We're doing this while waiting for Dr. Shu, and we have another powerful broadcast coming on in the next few days. You don't want to miss what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, as soon as Dr. Shu shows up, in our lobby, we will bring him into stream. Just time for us to maybe play one more video, a music video, while we wait for him to come online, and then we will have a lot of important questions to ask him this evening. This time, I will take you to some traditional dance beat. You are about to like what we have for you. Stay tuned, please. All right. And that's where we end that traditional beat. Apparently, Dr. Shu is not able to reconnect to the broadcast. We apologize. These things do happen. I'm afraid we'll have to wrap up here. We had a lot of questions for him, but I can assure you of one thing. We will be coming back to redo this show. Unfortunately, we cannot get back Dr. Shu. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how we wrap up the show now. Thank you for watching. Bye for
Jungle Mix.
Yeah, yeah. It's time to say bye-bye on Chart Night Africa. It's time to say bye-bye on Chart Night Africa. You know it's been a pleasure with you, my friend. I can't wait to be here again, to go all over and all over again. Gonna be there until the end. Bye-bye on Chart Night Africa. It's time to say bye-bye on Chart Night Africa. Oh, yeah, ooh, 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 ooh. We hope you had a great time watching Chart Night Africa.